Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Caffè Lena. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are welcoming Diana Jones here to Caffè Lena tonight, and we are in the midst of kind of an uncertain time, and that is definitely impacting the way that people are going out and seeing live music, and we've been doing our very best to make sure that this is as safe and comfortable a place as possible. And we made it through the last year by live streaming our shows, and so thankfully we are still able to do that tonight. I know that there are quite a few people that are watching online who may have wanted to come here in person but are not quite feeling up to it right now, and we support being cautious and being careful, but also supporting live music, and you can do that while watching online by visiting our online tip jar. The link will be on your screen, and I will send it in the chat several times, and you can find it by going to caffelena.org/tips. So that is how we made it through the entire last year of the lockdown with nobody in the room, and it is how we continue to make it through right now with limited capacity. So please do that if you're watching online. If you're here tonight, make sure you stop by the merch table after the show. Take some of this music home. It is going to be a wonderful night. Diana has new music. Make sure you see her new album. It's got some incredible special guests on it, and it is going to be a wonderful show. So please join me in making her feel very welcome in her return to Caffè Lena. This is Diana Jones.
Hello. You all look wonderful. Thank you for coming. And everybody out there in online land, too. Kind of amazing what we're all doing to keep the music alive right now, right? Woo! So this is my first live show in, 18 months inside. So thank you very much. It's really special for me to be on a stage, to have clothes on. I mean, I've had a lot of nice shirts on, but I have to tell you, I've had a lot of, my pajama bottoms, really, mostly. Life made you humble, all the living and dying, the coming and going, and the way we keep trying. Time wore you down, longer nights came around, and where the edges were harder, the days made you softer. Born in a blaze of glory, determined to write every word, every line. Sundown, you had everything. You woke up to nothing. It all slipped away when you weren't looking now. You wish you could sleep one more night in let peace with the one that you love breathing beside you. Born in a blaze of glory, determined to write your own story. as it finds us all, with a twist and a turn. Before the curtain falls, you were born in a blaze of glory, determined to write every word, every line of your story. Life made you humble, all the living and dying, the coming and going, and the way we keep trying, in the way we keep trying.
Thank you. Thank you. You're very good clappers. It's funny, I did a show in Harwich, but it was outdoors a couple of weeks ago, Harwich, Massachusetts, and oh my goodness, like when I heard myself amplified at the sound check for the first time in so long, I was stunned. You know, the things we take for granted, and I'm sure we have our own stories about that, but that was one for me. I just didn't count on it. It's a pretty powerful thing, you know, but when you do it every week, you don't really think about it. So kind of brought tears to my eyes. I cry a lot lately. Yeah. Me and my Labradoodle. She whines, I cry. It's a duet. But mostly it's joyful. Not joyful, but it's just grateful. You know, sort of that feeling of all the things that we do take for granted. And then, you know, you just hug somebody that you love, and it's like, wow, that isn't my Labradoodle. So this all started on my writing of the songs that my first record that came out in 2006 kind of kicked it off. And I went to a cabin in the woods alone for 3 weeks with a Johnny Cash record and an album full of hymns. And this was one of the songs that came out of that. You can hear the Johnny Cash, I think. It's a little song about addiction and redemption. Ain't no vipers at my door. Ain't no vipers at my door. No silver-tongued strangers come around no more. Ain't no vipers at my door. I should know I've seen my share. Oh, I should know I've seen my share. A host of demons have lingered there. Oh, I should know I've seen my share. I was there when the judgment come. Oh, I was there when the judgment come. I stood transfixed, I could not run. Oh, I was there when the judgment come. It come for me, it will come for you. It come for me, it will come for you. Open the door, let the rapture through. Oh, come for me, it will come for you. If you can bend like a willow tree, if you can bend like a willow tree, release your sin, fall down on your knees. Oh, if you can bend like a willow tree. Thank you. So I have a record that just came out in the U.S., and it just went to radio about a month ago, and it's pretty great. It took a long time. I was about to go on tour just before the lockdown, and then everything got shut down, and I wasn't sure if I was going to actually get it out in the U.S., but we did, so it's really great. It's a song cycle of stories based on songs based on stories of refugees. And over the pandemic, I was able to do some online benefits for different organizations, and so that was good. You know, at least the songs were doing something. And I'm about to go on tour in the UK and in Europe, so, you know, things are starting, and I really thank you so much again for showing up tonight. I know that we're all trying to do what we can. So this is from the new record. It's actually a song that came from a friend of mine who I've known a long time. She was a Syrian refugee when she was 7 years old, and her sister Maha was 14. They came to Detroit, Michigan on Halloween and spoke no English and didn't know what was going on. So they were in this house in suburbia, and all these goblins and ghosts and witches were knocking on the door, and they went to the middle bedroom and like kind of hid in the corner, and that was their introduction to America. I can only imagine. I went to a photographic exhibit with Maha, and it was photographs of Aleppo, and we stopped in front of one, and she took my hand and she was crying, and I asked her what was wrong, and it was a photograph of rubble. And she said, that was my high school. She recognized it. And then she told me how beautiful Aleppo was and what a cosmopolitan city. And so it was very heartbreaking for her to leave. And she said, you know, I was 14, I had a life. It was a life that I left behind. So I wrote this for her. If I could tell the story of the life I left behind, before you decide I am a different kind. If we spoke the same language and you could see it through my eyes, I'd tell you the story of the life I left behind. The streets were full and bustling with people that we knew. The man who gave me oranges and the one who fixed our shoes. A beautiful city shining in the sun, with food and drink and happiness enough for everyone. Family gathered Sunday round the table at our place. How I miss the grown-up talk and the old familiar faces. The year my father told me I was old enough to stay, and listen through the hours as the evening passed away. I saw the light change slowly behind my mother's smile. Then the war came quickly and the bombs fell from the sky. In the end, there was nothing left at all. Dust and empty ruins, and everyone was gone. If I could tell the story of the life I left behind, before you decide I am a different kind. If we spoke the same language, you could see it through my eyes. I'd tell you the story of the life I left behind. I'd tell you the story of the life tenor. It's a 1930 tenor, Gibson tenor guitar. And the one thing, except for my dog, that I would grab if there was a fire. You're not supposed to grab anything, you know, except for live things, but, you know. I was thinking my eyebrows are going to help. So I went out on the road a couple of years ago with Janice Ian, a few years back now, and it was so great, so much fun. She's very funny. Her songs are very sad. And so are mine, so you can only imagine, right? Me opening for Janice Ian. And then the CD line, everybody would be crying. And so we were sitting backstage once, and I said, do you think we should try to write something happy? And she said, no, hell no. Speed up the sad ones. Just great advice, right, from a real pro. There we go. So this is a peppy little number called Poverty.
Poverty, poverty, empty hands and icy feet, bed so cold you cannot sleep, in the arms of poverty, busy being born or dying, you have left your children crying, more will come to work for sure. Worried, tired, sick and poor, poverty, poverty. You have laid a hand on me in a room so dark I cannot see through the eyes of poverty. Mother, you have mourned too long, felt your sons and daughters torn from your arms and from your home. Sad and weary world to roam, poverty, poverty. Day and night a clever thief. Our hearts are hard, our streets are mean, in the throes of poverty. We are hungry through and through, lonesome like we never knew, doing things we would not do if it had not been for you. Poverty, poverty, how much longer will it be to loose the chains and set us free from the grip of poverty? Poverty, poverty, empty hands and icy feet, a bed so cold I cannot sleep, in the arms of poverty.
Can you guys raise the lights in the audience just for a few seconds so I can see everyone? Because I can't really see you. Because the lighting system is so great here now. Everything's so amazing. I mean, it was beautiful before, but this is a different Caffè Lena. Hi! Oh my goodness. There are quite a few of you out there, actually. Very nice to see you. Oh, there you go. Bye. I can see you a little bit. You look much better in the full light. I usually wait to sing a love song, but you know, these days, I should play one sooner than later. And I have a lot of songs where people die, because it's the old Appalachian tradition for the most part, you know, that my previous songs. And this is a love song where no one does. Everyone lives.
I want to know you, know where you've been, know how you came through. Sound of your voice, your original sin. Where we are is where we begin. Cracked and broken and beautiful. Cracked and broken, that's how the light shines through. I want to see you in the full of the morning, in the last of the evening, unfurled and uncovered. And in the same light, I want you to see me, cracked and broken and beautiful. Cracked and broken, that's how the light shines through. Cracked, broken, and beautiful. I want to feel where our edges are rough, what our corners are made of, where you and I start, where we both come apart, where we come together again. Cracked and broken and beautiful. Cracked and broken, that's how the light shines through. When China breaks, it's never the same. When I felt your love and my heart became cracked and broken. Cracked and broken, that's how the light shines through. We're cracked, broken, and beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. I get the little one. So I wrote almost all the songs for the new record during the summer of 2018. When our borders were, well, there was just a lot going on, and the separation of children from their families was getting worse and worse. And, you know, the whole idea of the concrete floored cages, and, you know, I just I was having trouble sleeping. So I think this was a little bit how I metabolized the whole thing on some level was to start to write songs. I didn't really try to. I just couldn't stop. And at a certain point, you know, they weren't really letting a lot of journalists in to the detention centers. But Senator Elizabeth Warren went to the border of El Paso, and she took an interpreter. They wouldn't let her film. They wouldn't let her record anything. But she took an interpreter, and she talked to this one woman who had come from Guatemala. She got her entire story, and when she came outside, she actually taped herself, filmed herself telling the story, which I thought was brilliant. And it was just kind of a relief to just hear it from someone who had been there. And this is the story that she told that day. It's called Mama, Hold Your Baby.
Mama, hold your baby so he won't cry no more. Behind the chain link cage, on the concrete floor. Back in Guatemala, no place safe to hide. A price upon your head, you ran for your life. You ran for your life. All the way to America, your baby in your arms. The border guard detained you, though you had done nothing wrong. You had done nothing wrong. The mothers in detention, the mothers they all cry. Their children have been taken without a reason why. Without a reason why. One night you were sleeping, your baby by your side. They pulled you from the cage, no time to say goodbye. No time to say goodbye. No time to say goodbye. Oh please, dear mothers of my little one, take care. As if you were your own sweet child, for I will not be there. I will not be there. Mama, hold your baby so he won't cry no more. Behind the chain link cage, on the concrete floor, on the concrete floor, so he won't cry no more.
Thank you.
Shall I speak of my beloved? Shall I speak of beauty rare? A face that shone like silver, a heart that shone like gold, a love as sure as wings of angels. Come to claim their children home. Shall I tell a sad, sad story? When my love I last did see, smile that left me lonely, a happy day it seemed. Now I see my sweet love only, walking through my dearest dreams. Spring comes round with small white flowers, blooming lovely on the vine. And each year that I see them shining up at me, like a love I thought would last forever, they soon will fade and cease to be. Oh, take me with you when you leave. Oh, oh. Shall I speak of my beloved? Shall I speak of beauty rare? A face that shone like silver and a heart that shone like gold, a love I thought would last forever. Thank you. Doing a lot of switcheroos here. It's been interesting, to talk to other friends and musicians. Like, everybody feels goofy right now. And I was, I'm sad to hear it, but I'm kind of relieved that, I don't have to go get checked for a brain tumor or anything right now. Just because, everything feels goofy. Like I said, putting on clothes, hearing myself. But it's great, too, because it all kind of when else in our lives would we have gotten a chance to do the things we love after not doing them for so long and, have that gratitude? Wow, I'm playing my guitar for you all, and I'm not sitting in my living room playing my guitar for you all out there somewhere. It was a very strange experience. Although, it's great too, because we got to be together on some level. And so after I finished recording this record, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went to the border, and she came back and she went to a women's detention center, and she came back also, and came back and gave a testimony to Congress. And she was so emphatic. She kept saying, I believed the women. I believed them. I believed them. Because there was so much demonization, coming from lots of different directions about people coming to our borders to seek asylum, and which is a legal thing to do, and then to be put in the system, but in a way that hopefully is not punitive, which is what it had turned into. So I wrote this in about 20 minutes after I heard her testimony. I went to the park with this guitar, and I just, in New York City at Tompkins Square Park, and I just wrote it. And I heard other voices in my head on the verses. And so I got together with my friend Steve Adabo, and we kind of recorded this one at the end and tacked it onto the record. And I'm so glad that we did. So it has some of my heroes on it on the recording, if you get to hear it.
I sing the first verse, and Steve Earle sings the second verse. Richard Thompson sings the next verse, and Peggy Seeger sings the verse about the mother, which I just couldn't imagine anything more wonderful than working with the people that I admire so much and have become friends, you know, on the road over the years. So this is called We Believe You.
I believe your eyes are tired of crying, and all the reasons you say you came here for. I believe you lost your mother and your father, and there ain't no sleeping on the concrete floor. I believe the gang said they would kill you. I believe they killed your child and your wife. In the end, there was no one left to save you. I believe you were running for your life. I believe you. I believe you were starving in the desert. All the water had been poured out on the ground. I believe you had no voice. I believe you had no choice when everything you loved was burning down. I believe you. I believe you. We believe you. We believe you. We believe you. We believe you walked till you could not walk. You carried your baby in your arms. They took her from you at the border. Now she cries 'cause she doesn't know where you are. We believe you. We believe you. We believe you. We believe you came here for asylum. We believe you want to live in peace. We believe you did what we all would do. There's no difference between you and me. We believe you. We believe you. We believe you. We believe you. We believe you came here for asylum. We believe you want to live in peace. We believe you came here for asylum. We believe you want to live in peace. We believe you want to live in peace.
Thank you. So during that summer, there were a lot of things circulating on Facebook and the media in general. There's one picture of rosary beads. It was a guy, Tom Kiefer, who is a photographer, but he was working as a custodian at the border with New Mexico. So he started to take photographs of things that had been confiscated from asylum seekers. So he had like pictures of, like just rows and rows and rows of bars of soap. And one was animal crackers. But the one that got me the most was a photograph of, I think it was 42 rosary beads, all curled in on themselves. Some of them looked handmade, well-worn, And I just couldn't wrap my mind and my heart around why that would be confiscated, their faith, someone's faith, at a moment when they were being, traumatized. And there were also at the same time, there's this one photograph also at the same time of a man who had a toddler in his arms. He was running for the border. There's barbed wire behind him, and he looked so determined that he was going to make it, with this baby. And I thought, and at the same time, a lot of the men who were coming to the borders with children were being demonized as drug dealers, that they were using the kids as shills and they were coming through, which turned out to be largely untrue. So I wrote this for the men taking care of children in these situations. It's called Santiago.
Here I stand, in my hands is a rosary. All I own, and you take it. A gift from my grandmother, I was 7 years old. In a church, in another life, many years ago. My abuela made a home. She taught me all I know. The first day I remember is the two of us. She never met a stranger or knew an enemy. She went to heaven on a Sunday, the year I turned 18. Then came the killing and the fire. We had to run, some didn't make it. A little boy named Santiago stayed by my side. His mother's final words were, "He's a good boy, you can see. Take him all the way to a better life, and don't let him cry." Miles turned into days, turned into months to reach El Paso. It was me and Santiago in the border guard. They asked us questions at the station. They took my rosary. I said, "The boy is Santiago. Do not take him." I have never been a father, but I would like to be to this boy named Santiago. Do not take him, please. I promised his mother, do not take him from me.
Thank you. So there are a lot of This is an older song. There are a lot of songs in the Appalachian tradition. I was born and raised in New York and the East Coast, but I don't know, from those of you who don't know, I found my birth family. I was adopted and found my birth family when I was 23. And my grandfather was a singer in the Appalachian tradition, and I got to know him over the years, and it turned out that my quirky voice was just like his. And this all kind of made sense, so... But there were, when I was sort of going through the canon of songs with him, there were so many women that got murdered, you know. Well, there are other people too, but a lot of women. It was usually like their boyfriend or their almost husband, you know, and they were pregnant a lot of the time. And so I decided to write an anecdote to that song where the woman comes out better. And I sang it in England for the first time, and in the press, I think it was The Guardian, called me a hillbilly feminist, which I like a lot. I think it's a great, I'll take it, you know, maybe a t-shirt.
Riding in from Wilmington through field and piney wood, at the end of a 3-day journey is Evangelina stood. Briars lay beneath her feet, a crown of tangles in her hair, and on her face no trace of the girl he left behind did linger there. My love, I left you for to fight, I left you for the war, but a folly drove me further, kept me from your door. I procured a taste for liquor and for the gaming life. I should have returned to your side to claim you for my wife. Tell me, oh tell me, my dear Evangelina, who was it took your sweet smile? What thief was this did claim? The color from your ruby lips, your innocence replaced with shame. I gave to you a baby, but did not give his name.
She says,
I will never tell you, I will take it to my grave. Who was it stole my young heart and carried it away? Now right on now before the dust does blacken up the sky, I will remain with my remembrance, my baby boy and I. Right on now before the dust does blacken up the sky, I will remain with my remembrance, my baby boy and I.
thank you. So I have a friend who is sort of turned out to be a spiritual advisor for me. His name is Harky Kleinfelter. He was he's from New Jersey, and he was a student at Yale Divinity School. He was 19 years old, and some of his friends jumped in a car and went to Selma, Alabama, and marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. And then he stayed and became Dr. King's PR person to the end. And I met his wife there, who was also a social justice worker, and they fell in love. And she, Annelies, was from Holland, so they ended up moving to the Netherlands together, and he became a minister there. And they worked together in social justice their whole lives. they're in their 80s. They just came back from Lesbos at the detention center there. Annalise broke her leg. You know, she's like 80. She broke her leg. She's in a wheelchair. She's like, no, I'm not coming home. So she stayed for the whole journey. They're pretty amazing. And they've been to Lesbos especially many times, helping folks down there. So during the last administration, and when I was writing all these songs, and I was just kind of losing my mind, and I asked Harky how he felt about the state of the world, and he said, well, you know, sometimes it takes a lot of light shown in the darkest of corners to let us know what we need to deal with. I thought, okay, I'll take that one. And he told me what was happening with the boats coming from Egypt to Lesbos, and some things that I just can't even ever forget. But this was one of the stories he was telling me about a woman whose family gave all of their money to her so that one of them could escape.
The boat was a belly, I lay inside. The storm came up, I did not cry. The smell of sweat and engine fire waiting through the darkest night. The sea is my mother and she rocks me deep. She calms the waves so I can sleep and dream of peace and something more, waiting on a distant shore. My sister dressed me as a man. She gave me all the money she had. She kissed my cheek, she pressed my hands. Be quiet as a grave, quiet as you can. The sea is my mother, she rocks me deep. She calms the waves so I can sleep. Dream of peace and something more, waiting on a distant shore, waiting on a distant shore. The boat was a thief, the boat was a liar. It sank beneath the deep black water. Poor soul swam and some went under. I tell my sister that I love her. The sea is my mother, she rocks me deep. She calms the waves so I can sleep. Dream of peace and something more. The sea is my mother and she rocks me deep. She calms the waves so I can sleep. And dream of peace and something more, waiting on a distant shore, waiting on a distant shore, waiting on a distant shore.
Thank you. So I was thinking about women, mothers, but also the women who mother children who don't have children of their own, and how we're sort of, raising the world together in the ways that we can, but also that the love of a child, the love that a woman has for a child, and men too, it just pushes us to do things that we wouldn't ordinarily do. I was thinking especially of the women at the borders with children who were, risking their lives in ways that maybe they wouldn't have just for themselves, but they were fighting for the lives of their children. So I wrote a little song called Ask a Woman.
If you really want to know answers to the question, what's keeping us apart these days? If you feel the need to understand what's heavy on your heart, ask a woman with a child in her arms. If you feel, oh, sing it. Uh-oh, this is the part where I forget the lyrics because I haven't sung this song very much. And you guys don't know it yet, so. I've had a couple of audience members help me out with songs in the past. I can't remember it. Wow. It's just gone. Just slow, hang on. Ask a woman with a child. Everybody sing. In her arms. When it all comes down to reasons, say it works. Why we live and what we would die for. Why we get up in the morning these days. If you worry where the light has gone, if it's worth your way home in the dark, ask a woman with a child in her arms. Your back is tired from the weight of the world, and the road is steep and rough and hard. Ask a woman. There's a lot more instrumentals in this than usual. What do you say to the traveler seeking food and shelter when the house is full to bursting and a knock comes at the door, and you want to welcome every soul from the cold night into the warm? Ask a woman with a child in her arms. When your back is tired from the weight of the world and the road is steep and rough and hard, ask a woman. Ask a woman. Ask a woman with a child in her arms. Y'all are so nice and patient. So this is a brand new song. Wow, I'm a little brave to do this, right? After that, well, I wrote this a couple months ago, and I made a little video. I think you can find it on YouTube. There's also a video of We Believe You, if you look on YouTube for that. And I shot it myself with my phone, and I asked over 40 people to hold up banners that had the lyrics on them, and not one person said no. And this was in April when we were still wearing masks, and
it was a pretty amazing experience. And I think they trusted me because I had such a cute dog. I mean, seriously, you know, wow, she's cute. She looks healthy. You kept that dog alive. You must be okay. But I made a little video of this too. I'm a good one, you will find. I just had a little hard time. I just had a little hard time. I just had a little hard time. In my arms a heavy load, walking down a lonesome road. I was walking down a lonesome road, walking down a lonesome road. Love is patient, love is kind. Now you're always on my mind. Everything I have to give, all the life that's left to live. I've been happy, I've been there. I just need some tender care. I just need some tender care. I just need some tender care. Love is patient, love is kind. Now you're always on my mind. Everything we have to give, all the life that's left to live. Somehow I bumped into you. These days I don't feel so blue. These days I don't feel so blue. These days I don't feel so blue. I could see it in your eyes, open as a big sunrise, open as a big sunrise, open as a big sunrise. Love is patient, love is kind. Now you're always on my mind, and everything we have to give, and all the life that's left to live. I'm a good one, you will find. I just had a little hard time. I just had a little hard time. I just had a little hard time. Pandemic records coming out. I think what I'm going to do is like pepper them out over the next like 5 years, you know, like 2 a record so that I don't kill everybody. But yeah, you know, they're a little sad, sadder than usual. Even, but actually no, they're kind of hopeful. I don't know. Maybe I should play my actual pandemic song. What do you think? Like the one. Did any of you guys see me online during the? No. You did? So did you see In Good Company? Did you hear me sing that one at all? No. So that was my pandemic, you know, my ode to the pandemic, and what we were all doing to keep each other safe. And so this is it. Why not, right? Here we are. And not knowing. My England tour, I got back from like another like the Harwich gig, and then the morning I landed in New York, I got a text that the entire tour in England had been canceled because of, and then the next morning I got up and I got a text that said the whole thing was back on. It was uncanceled. So I don't know, right? Like, how do we know anything right now exactly? But I think it's caped it up so high that only dogs can hear it, really. Almost. Oh, Birdie's here, my dog. She's in the dressing room. So, I'll have her out at the CD table because she'll be so happy to see you guys. I think she knows something's happening, out here. Oh, these days go by so swiftly as the hours move so slowly. We stay apart together for the love of one another. As I wait for you, as you wait for me, round the corner of a hard time that none would disagree. As we gaze ahead, how we ache to see our dearest and our best, there with all the rest. We ever long to be back in good company. How long, in months and years, until the sadness disappears. To keep you safe, to be alone, when will I have your hand to hold? As I wait for you, as you wait for me, round the corner of a hard time that none would disagree. As we gaze ahead, how we ache to see our dearest and our best, there with all the rest. We ever long to be back in good company. To hear your voice, to see your face, without you close, cannot replace my arms around you when we meet on that early morning street. As I wait for you, as you wait for me, round the corner of a hard time, none would disagree. As we gaze ahead, how we ache to see our dearest and our best, there with all the rest. We ever long to be back in good company. Our dearest and our best, there with all the rest. We ever long to be back in good company, in good company, in good company. Thank you. So Henry Russell was a man who lived at the turn of the last century. He came from Stirling, Scotland, to Everettville, West Virginia, for a better life in the coal mining industry there. He left his wife Mary behind for a time and sent for her. But he wrote these beautiful love letters to her. And instead of saying, "Dear Mary," he wrote, "Oh, how I love you, Mary," in every one of them. I was lucky enough to sit with his daughter, Marguerite, who was in her 80s, and read the letters that her father had written to her mother. So Mary joined him. They had 3 children. Henry went to work in the mine, and on April 30th, 1927, there was an explosion at the Everettville mine, which killed 111 men. And Henry was one of them. But during the last 3 hours of his life, as he knew the air was getting bad, he wrote his last love letter to Mary, and these are Henry Russell's last words.
Still alive, but the air is getting bad. Oh, how I love you, Mary. I have made my peace with God. Oh, how I love you, Mary. Did not ask why I'll go down in the mine. Oh, how I love you, Mary. It was for the children, it was for better times. Oh, how I love you, Mary. Stay in America and give the kids a home. Oh, how I love you, Mary. Marry another, you should not be alone. Oh, how I love you, Mary. We are weakening, our hearts are beating fast. Oh, how I love you, Mary. We think about our families and we do not feel sad. Oh, how I love you, Mary. They will lay me in a pauper's grave. Oh, how I love you, Mary. Tell my Father my soul is saved. Oh, how I love you, Mary. Meet me in heaven, I'll wait for you there. Oh, how I love you, Mary. Oh, how I love you, Mary. Oh, how I love you. How I love you.
Met this amazing instrument yesterday. It is a griffin, which I just love that it's a griffin. It's made by my friend Joe. Joe Vayette. He makes amazing guitars, and he and his amazing wife Kim are putting me up this weekend, so Birdie and I are having a vacation in Woodstock. But look up his guitars online, and they're tuned to different keys with string configurations that it boggles my mind. But I think because I don't really read music, so I don't really ever know what key I'm playing in until some bass player goes. So yeah, but anyway, so I met this beautiful instrument yesterday and decided to give it a whirl. Isn't that just the most amazing? It's like, so I'm gonna play my song Pony on it and see how it goes, because I just think it sounds like a small orchestra from heaven.
When they signed the papers, they didn't think I knew, didn't know I understood what they were told to do by some white men that came by the reservation one night. I've been in the state school for 10 years or so. The teachers do their rounds and they are mostly kind, you know. The language ain't the same. They cut my hair and changed my name. My daddy called me Pony. He loved me, I know. Went riding in the snow. Winter in Dakota, the hills are cold and white. I can't close my eyes and fix them plainly in my sight, and I see them in my sleep through the window of my dreams. My daddy called me Pony. He loved me, I know. We went riding in the snow. Pony, pony. When the dorm is dark and still, if I listen with my heart, can almost hear that name, hear it echo on the plain, hear him whisper, we can leave this world behind. I heard about the moonshine, how we cut him down. When Mama came to visit, she said, that's why he don't come around. But some things I know for sure, like it's 1924. My daddy called me Pony. He loved me, I know. We went riding in the snow. Pony, 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 pony.
Thank you. So I'm going to do a couple more for y'all, and then let's visit. I miss talking to folks who love music in person. So many songs that I've written in the past that have new meaning now, you know. It happens anyway, but especially during a pandemic, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? Who knew? I mean, I'd never been through one before. But I have a song called Better Times Will Come. Yep, vaccinated times will come. Better times will come, better days will shine. Long nights be through, love again be mine. Oh, dollars to spend, warm winds to blow, children be fed, good news to know. Oh, better times will come, better days will shine. Long nights be through, love again be yours and mine. Girls safe in bed, no wars to win, and kind words be said. Oh, better times will come, better days will shine. Long nights be through, love again be yours and mine, yours and mine. Oh, I'll leave you with a little song that I wrote on Valentine's Day, which means I was not on a date. And I was thinking about love. You have a great laugh. Who's ever in the dark over there? Mm-hmm. I want to thank Sarah Craig and everybody here at Caffè Lena and the beautiful new Caffè Lena. It was always beautiful. Now it's beautiful and new. And I want to thank Joe on sound. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you for being here. Made my job so much easier. And all the volunteers and staff here, and you know, be generous with your weight, folks. And thank you for being here with me. Can't thank you enough. Love, oh love, what have you done to me? Love, oh love, why did you come? I'm blinded, weak, knocked down to my knees. You never let a poor heart beat. Never let a poor heart be. Love, oh love, I did not call.
wanted to say, love you even knew my name. Love you even knew my name. Love, you make the young poet sing. You make the red bird fly. But where you go, the feeling so low. I've often heard a grown man cry. I've often heard a grown man cry. Love, oh love, what have you done to me, love? Oh love, why did you come? I'm blinded, weak, knocked down to my knees. You never let a poor heart beat. You never let a poor heart beat. You never let a poor heart beat. You never let a poor heart
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody out in online land, in YouTube land.